So welcome to our Selenium session for day one, and what I'm going to take you through is the introductory part for today, as well as the basic of the different components that we will go through, and what's the agenda that we will have for the next few sessions, and what actually we will learn during our sessions. So this is the first slide that I'm going to show you, and right from the beginning I'm going to start. I don't want to make up anything which say that this will be this will be that directly, so that you may not know some points even if you have the basic knowledge of those. So I will start from the starting. So what Selenium is, what is Selenium, do you think? Alright, so what is it? We will start with right away start with the points of test automation for a web application, what we need to automate, why, what is Selenium, and advantage of Selenium. So if you automate, why do you need to automate? First thing. Okay, I want my class to be interactive, so please unmute yourself and then ask and acknowledge me what I'm asking for, please. All right. So, what do you think? Why do we need to automate? Why do we use test automation?
Yeah, we needed to minimize the product defects.
Okay, that's one point. Minimize the defects is manual testing also use the same thing? Then what
yeah,
is the
but
that?
by using automation, we can minimize as much as can.
Okay. We can reduce the manual effort on it. That's the main intention. The first intention is to reduce the manual effort. The second thing is to reduce the errors. Errors reducing is same with you will be testing it to reduce any errors, to man-made errors rather than we call. Okay, so test automation is basically for reduction of the effort, and we will be able to only automate something called regression pack. I've already told. So automation can be used only on the regression testing part of any testing. What is regression? Repeatability instances of testing anything. If you need to run any test case for more than once, then for it to check that whether you are on the correct track of passing it or not. You're running it. First you have run it. It is passed. Still you are running it again, which means you are at a repeatability point. That means you are doing regression testing. So automation is always used for regression testing. So that's the basic point I want to make. Fine. So what we need to automate and what all the things, let's check it. Maybe it's like a repeated thing, but just bear with me because it is a starting session. I want everything to be clear, and then only I want to go to the next point. So what test automation will do, and what do we need? Why do we need it? Test automation will support web-based applications also. Test automation will make or support agile methodology. What is test automation meaning? It's using a software tool to run repeatable tests against the application to be tested. As we have already seen, test automation is for running repeatable tests, that is regression testing. Why is it not for the first time test cases? Why only for repeatable test cases? Or why do we need test automation for repeatability instances only? Because for the first time anyone has to do math. You have to identify what what is the behavior of the software for the first time. Unless you know the behavior of the software from after this screen, it will appear. The next screen is which is going to.
Suma, are you there?
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Okay, I thought the there was a small problem with the GoToMeeting server connection. Now are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I'm able to hear.
Yeah.
All right. So I was just saying, why do we need automation only for regression, not for the first phase or the basic phase of testing? So in any cases, why can't we automate the basic phase of testing or the first instance of testing? Yeah, Hema, you can
Yeah,
also
they
reply.
said because we
Check
need
the
to explore the
behavior of
application
it.
first.
Yeah, please. Sorry, take turns and okay. So after
To
that,
check the behavior of the test. I mean,
Alright.
how would it run and
yeah, that part you are able to hear me.
Yeah.
Okay. So unless you know the behavior of the software, how will it behave, you will not be able to test it. So for you to understand what the software behaves like, from which screen to which screen it will go, what you do in which screen, to understand and to know the first part, you have to run it manually only. That's why you can only test the automation part for regression. And if it is required only for one-time testing of an application, then automation is not used.
Hello?
I think he's offline again.
Yeah.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Suma, if you have the problem, yeah.
Okay, this is the first time I'm experiencing things like this. Otherwise, it usually used to be fine. We never had such a problem. It's frequently breaking. I'm not sure why. Okay, just bear with me for now. We will have a look at it from tomorrow onwards in case there is a problem. Okay. So please bear with me for today, and in case the same problem continues tomorrow, we will have a look at it and revisit things too, which course action that we have to take. Fine. So I was saying that okay, we were going through this slide, and I was mentioning that we can do frequent integration testing. We will have unlimited number of iterations that we can test. There will be virtually unlimited iterations, because once you have done the coding for automation of a test case, the same test case as a script you can do unlimited number of times, because your manual effort is not there in that. So you can just run the script using the system any number of times. If it's the same thing that you have to do manually, if one test case has to be run 100 times manually, which means the same effort you have to put 100 times, that is more tedious, and you'll be more tired. You will not continue with the same case for the 100th time. The system, but automation tool is not like that. Even if you give it for the first time or the 100th time for running the script, it will take the same time. It may even take the less time, and it will not get tired of these things. Maybe your system will get heat up and everything, but the script will not get tired up. So what I mean to say is, you will have unlimited number of iterations without any problem. Manual error or manual effort may be lacking sometimes, but script will not be lacking. And once you do the correct coding, okay, that's the conditions apply. Okay, then automation will always support the agile and extreme development methodologies. Even though the client's requirements changes, sometimes you can still manage to have automation handle those situations by doing modular programming. There is something called modularity, which means in case there is any change in the code or there is any change in the application, you should be able to make it work. You should be able to make your present coding work with minimum number of changes. That's where the modularity thing comes into the picture. If you have modularized it, which means if you have broken down the main code into single pieces, small pieces of code, which means a main test case into small functions which you frequently use. That means you have modularized it. So modularity is also one of the parts of the framework design, which usually is done by the expert test architects or the test leads. If you are at the on par with the knowledge of them, then you can also do it. So while writing the code or while writing the programming part of the test case itself, you have to think in the point of view of the modularity. And test automation, in fact, will help when it is modularized and it will support agile methodology in that way. So that's the background for when I say that test automation supports agile methodology. Then you will have disciplined documentation of test cases. That's for sure, because once you automate, you will have to automate. You can automate only when you have a disciplined documentation, and when you have a write script, using that script also you can have a disciplined documentation. Then you will have customized the defect reporting. You can find the defects which are also missed by the manual testing if you run using automation. So in case manually, if you are not able to find any errors, for example, but according to the scenario, according to the requirements document, if you have actually designed the test script, then you will be able to find any defects that are also missed by the manual testing. That part is also there. What happens in companies usually is manual test scripts are written by somebody. Your automation scripts are written by somebody, which means you will write the automation test script. Manual test cases, designed by somebody, executed by somebody, reports given by somebody, and those test cases reviewed by someone else. Those test cases which are reviewed, which come across all these phases and come to you, you will do the test scripts for few of the test cases. In case you are not around, your test cases may also be given to somebody else. So when the test cases and test scripts passes so many people's hands, they may get diluted. But what is the common document which will tie up all these things together is the requirements document. So everyone has to write according to the requirements document, whatever the test case or test script is. You will also write the required test script based on the requirement document. So in case there is a problem with the test case, then you are able to then also you will be able to find out. In case the test case is according to the requirement document and you are writing your test script according to the test case, manual test case, then whatever defect which is not found by the tester at the manual phase can also be found at your end. Fine. That's what I wanted to explain through this point. That's in detail explanation of it. Fine. So then when you get to this point, what we need to automate, it's always not advantageous. Why? See here, if there is any frequent changes in the application, then whatever you automate is subject to change. Every now and then, if the application changes, whatever effort that is taken for the manual test cases to be written, whatever effort that is taken for the automation after the manual test case, all that thing is gone in waste. If some application changes its requirement for every now and then all the effort, because manual test case will be written once, but the automation part will take a lot of time for it to automate, because you will be able to reuse it again and again. So the effort that will be taken for automating also will take a lot of time. But once the effort is done, it can be reused any number of times. So if the application is frequently changing, you are investing a lot of time on automation, but that automation, whatever time you have invested, you are not able to reap the benefits of that. Then that's of no use. So it's not advantageous to automate the test cases which belong to the frequently changing applications. One more thing, it's not advantageous to automate the short-term applications. If any application, for example, have to be developed and tested within a span of 4 months, 5 months, like that, or that if 2, 3 weeks or 4 weeks is given for testing, then it's not advantageous to automate the application, because the entire time that you will invest on automating, within that time, one phase of manual testing can be done, and it's a short-term application that has to be delivered within time. So resources will take a lot of time. Time also will be taken if you automate in such situations. So that is not recommended. And if an application has a very tight deadline, then also it is not preferable to use automation. If it is advantageous at what point? Only when there are requirements are constant. You don't have requirements changing frequently. There may be a change in requirement, but that's a very rare situation in your project. Then it's very much advantageous. And moreover, if you have very big applications with the projects which run for years together, 3 years, 4 years, 2 years, minimum 2 years, 3 years, and like that, then also it's advantageous to do automation. The project that I am working currently is also like that. It's like in 2007 the project has started, and we have 10 releases till now for the project, which is like enhancements, new features they will release. Every year they'll release 1 or 2 new features. So whenever we will be automating, it's like clients from different countries will use that product. Whenever a new client from a new country will use that product, we will have to test right from the starting feature till the most latest feature that they are using. So we will need so many regression pack test cases for us to test the whole application. If it's a newly newly using client, if it's not the newly using client, if it's a newly using client, what I'm explaining is right from the beginning till the end we will use. If it's not a newly acquired or newly acquired customer who is using the product, it's a existing customer who is using the product, then we will have new features that we will get from time again. So those new features we will test and then give it to the client, which means for the new features also we will need to automate. So I have been into executing and designing the test cases which were in regression pack right from the beginning till the end, and also for the new ones. So my application is the big kind of application which has constant implementation. Over 6-7 years we are using it. All right. So that's about the big applications advantages. If you have frequent releases, that also is my project is actually the example of these both, big applications and frequent releases. We have 10 releases till now. Release 9, release 10. We are working on release 10 now. Maybe in another few days or 1 or 2 months, this release will be done. Next year, February approximately, they are going to release the 11th feature in our software. So this is about what we need to automate and why. Then, okay, this is the regular testing life cycle, which you may have an idea, but let me take you through it. We will have these all steps whenever you are going through the testing life cycle. First, requirements will be gathered. Based on the requirements, test plan will be written. This is a day-to-day plan. What to execute when, who should be executing, what should be done during execution, all that. Then test environment will be set up. Then test cases will be designed. Execution will be done. Then during execution, if you get any error, you do the reporting. So saying that so and so error happened or defect is caused during execution of so and so test case. Please resolve it. You will report the bug and send it to the developer team. Once everything is executed, designed, executed, and reported, then at the end of all these steps, you will do something called a traceability matrix or a report, which will contain all the features that you have tested. For each feature, what is the test case that you have written, whether you have executed it or not. If you have executed, what was the result? If the result is passed, that's fine. If the result is fail, what is the defect that you raised for it? Is the defect closed or not? If it is not closed, why it is not closed? All these steps will be written in the traceability matrix of the report. Then, okay, this is the pictorial form of whatever I've just told you. Now we come to the actual point where we have to start. So what's Selenium? What is Selenium? I'll just open the Selenium HQ website, the official website of Selenium, and let me show you that. So it says Selenium Automate Browsers. What is Selenium? It says Selenium Automate Browsers, which means it is for automating browsers. So it will automate browsers only. Okay, that's it. That's what I've written here. Selenium is not exactly here. I think in some other page maybe I have written. Okay, Selenium is a suite of tools to automate web application testing across many platforms. You can automate a web application across many platforms is what I'm mentioning here. So, for example, if you take QTP, which is a tool for automating web applications as well as desktop or client-server based applications, it cannot be automated on many platforms. You have to use only one platform, that is Windows. So Selenium surpasses that limitation of using only one platform. It can be used on many platforms. All right. Okay. It's an open source tool, so there is no cost attached to it. And it's not a single tool. At this point, maybe I already told you. Selenium is not a single tool. You have a suite of tools. You have 4 components, out of which we will look at 2 components in very detail. One component we will only touch, which means we will only have a basic idea of one component, and then we will look at the basics. Okay, we will anyway start with the basics, and we will get to the basic of one of the component. Then we will look at the details of the other 2 components. Why and what of those and why I will explain you in a few minutes. Now, we have 4 components, as I've already told you. There are set of Selenium tools which when combined, which will provide the automation power for the simple to complex. You can automate, name it, and you can do it. Automation of any scenario using Selenium. That's what I'm going to say here. Okay, this is created by the developers at ThoughtWorks. ThoughtWorks is the company which actually created the Selenium. If you want to visit the website of ThoughtWorks, you can visit thoughtworks.com is the website. However, there will be no mentioning of Selenium on their website. They have some other tools called Twist and others, which will use Selenium, but they will not mention about Selenium because Selenium was one of their projects. Because it's an open source, they have left it for the Selenium community. Okay, people all around the globe who are interested, who are enthusiastic to learn new things, to also use new things, who want to contribute to open source tools, they have taken ownership of Selenium now. It's not under any commercial usage. However, it is there are rumors around that Google is going to buy Selenium and they may be commercializing it like QTP. Fine. So coming are the days of Selenium mostly. So get ready with Selenium, and you will be able to use, you will be able to get your career onto Selenium. All right. Next, Selenium is the tool for web applications. So this is only for web applications. It will enable browser compatibility testing. Let me tell you what compatibility testing is. I think Hema can answer this question.
Yeah, I mean,
What's compatibility testing?
if the software allows you to run on it or not, if it does work or not.
Compatibility. Okay. Any guesses, Rajni?
No.
Alright, compatibility means whether the application is able to run on different platforms or not. So different platform does not only mean that operating system, it also means that different browsers also. Platform not necessarily be an operating system. Okay, it will enable the browser compatibility. Selenium will enable the browser compatibility. How? Using QTP, tools like QTP, you can only automate use on Internet Explorer. If your application is a web application and if it runs only on one browser, that's not good. People around the world use so many browsers to browse any website. Some people may not. For example, till the time there were only 2 browsers. Till when I was in college, there were only 2 browsers: Internet Explorer and Netscape Navigator. Netscape Navigator was very slow, so people never liked it and never used it. During that time, Internet Explorer was very fast, so we all used to use Internet Explorer. Now most of the people are using Google Chrome, and some people from Apple community, they use Safari browser. Some people from open source background, they like to use Opera browser. There are lots of browsers. If you're able to use your website, open your website using any of the browsers, then your website will gain prominence. Compatibility testing, because Selenium will work, QTP will work only on Internet Explorer. You can't test your browser or your application using any other web browser through QTP. It will support only Internet Explorer. So it's like, it's not only QTP, any other tool. I'm mentioning QTP because QTP is the most commercial tool that is available in India, and most of the people in the world still are. Some people are using, whoever using commercial tools, they mostly prefer QTP. So that the most prominent commercial tool is QTP. So when you compare with QTP, this is more, this is better or more apt for using for compatibility, browser compatibility. Fine. Then it will enable you to do system functional testing. So what all we do is the basic system functional testing. So it will definitely enable you to do functional testing also, apart from the browser compatibility. Browser compatibility is an added feature, extra advantage. So what are the advantages of Selenium? So when you rewind all these things that we have gone through, this is the summary. It's an open source free software. It is easy to install. We also have a record and playback option in it. That's one of the components of Selenium. It will support multiple browsers and multiple operating systems. You can cover scripts in other languages. That's why it is platform independent. You can run in different platforms or different operating systems also. Tool like QTP or rational functional testing from IBM, they will work only on one language. The rational functional testing, the RFT, will work only on Java. QTP will work only on VB script. But using Selenium, you can script it, or you can write your code in many other languages. You can use C#, you can use Python, you can use Perl, you can use PHP. So you have multiple languages into which you can convert your code and use on Selenium. That's why Selenium is so prominent. You can, the same script, whatever you write in one language, you can use the same script and run the same script on different browsers. You don't need to change your code. If you want to run your website, if you want to test your website on Internet Explorer browser or Chrome browser or Firefox browser, you don't need to change your code completely. In case of other applications, you may need require to do it, but in Selenium you don't need to change the application, change the test case. You just need to add 1 or 2 lines of extra code. That's it. If you're running it on different browsers. So when we will be doing or testing using different browsers, we will be looking at what is the code that we have to add or what is the code that we have to delete when not required. Right? That we will look at a later stage. But whatever script you will be writing, the same script you can use on different browsers, running your test case on different browsers. That's the point that I want to make. Fine. So this is the architecture of Selenium. Actually, it will run like this. Whatever code that you will write, it will go through something called a remote control server, and then it will reach the browsers. What all browsers can be used for automation? Firefox, Internet Explorer, Safari, and Opera. These two are generally used for mobile testing, Safari and Opera. The operating systems that can be used are Windows, Linux, and Solaris. Then programming languages. All these programming languages can be used. C#, Java, Perl, Python, PHP, Ruby. So this is about the basic part of what actually automation is and why do we need to use it, what is the advantage of Selenium. We will now look at the components of Selenium and what are the what each component will stand for what. So I also call components of Selenium as flavors of Selenium. In this we will look at the flavors of Selenium, then how to install Selenium IDE, which is the basic component, the first component of Selenium. Okay, let us continue today for another 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and let's stop it for today, and then we will continue tomorrow. Let's look at the different flavors of components now. Okay, I think Rajni, you were able to give me some basic idea that you had about different flavors or different components of Selenium. Can you just repeat what you have the basic idea of?
Yeah, there are 4 different types, I think. Selenium IDE, R3, and the Grid and WebDriver. Selenium IDE is for record and playback.
Yes. And the others?
Remote controller is used for client server, I think. I don't know exactly.
All right. Selenium IDE is for the basic record and playback option of Selenium. In QTP also we have a record and playback option wherein it will record the steps, all the steps by itself, whatever we do it. Then whenever you replay it, it will perform the same steps. However, recording playback is not advisable or not appreciated in most of the tools. It is only for the basic knowledge or for the basic usage. The recording playback option should be used and will be used in most of the or all the tools. Why? In QTP also it is the same thing. In Selenium also it is the same thing, because recording playback cannot be done on all the applications, and recording playback will not work in all the situations. Okay, let me give you an example. If I have to do any data-driven test, if I have to something like, if I have to test all the links of a web page, let's say there are 1000 links or 100 links in one web page. So if I have to test all those links whether they're working or not, if they're working or not, if I have to test, then I have to write a descriptive programming test script only, because if I use a descriptive programming test case instead of recording playback, if I have to do recording playback, I have to manually click on those 100 links for the first time while I'm recording the test script. Only then I have to play it back to test whether they are working fine or not. Instead of that, if I write a test script, whether it is in QTP or Selenium or whatever language, whatever tool, I can identify each element through a common name, and I can ask the tool to perform all the steps for me. So that's the easiness of using a programmatic language or programmatic script. That feasibility is not there in record and playback options. Okay, record and playback option is only for the basic usage, as I'm already speaking about. Record and playback option is like for the basic sanity tests of an application, whether a screen is behaving correctly or not, whether a text box is behaving correctly or not, whether a button, if you are clicking the button, whether it is taking you to some other place, or whether it is operating perfectly or not. If you are clicking a link, whether it is redirecting you to some other page or not. So in a page or in a module or in the whole application, the behavior of the application is correct or not will be tested using the tools like the recording playback options, which have recording playback options like Selenium IDE. Alright, so
Yeah.
that's about the Selenium IDE. So coming to the Selenium remote control or Selenium RC, this is the component that has been deprecated or officially closed by the Selenium community, and official Selenium website also mentions that this tool should not be used anymore. 2 years back itself, people have closed down this tool, not to be used. But even in some companies, still very rare cases, 19 out 100 out 1 out of 100 cases, you'll find this one. Other 99 cases, you'll find the WebDriver working on the test scripts. So because you have to have a basic idea, I'll take you through that. What it will actually do is, whatever cannot be handled using Selenium IDE can be handled using Selenium remote control. For example, as I already told, if you have to test all the links of a web page, that can be handled. If you have to print all your for example, I have a drop-down list with 100 countries. If I have to print all the names of those 100 countries in the drop-down list, that can also be automated using Selenium remote control. You can actually print all those 100 names into a text file or into an Excel file, whatever you want, which cannot be done by Selenium IDE. So that's the power of Selenium remote control. And Selenium WebDriver is the latest version or the recent version of Selenium remote control. So why people are not using Selenium remote control anymore is, Selenium WebDriver is the powerful tool when compared with Selenium remote control, and Selenium remote control is very slow when executing things. That's why people are not using Selenium remote control anymore, and the official website also condemns or does not encourage using Selenium remote control due to that reason. When you have a better version of something, why people need to use an older version? So that's the basic term on which Selenium remote control is based on. Now, Selenium WebDriver, what all is the added features in the Selenium WebDriver? As an example, if you are going to any e-commerce project, if you want to drag and drop an item from the list to a cart, that thing cannot be automated using Selenium remote control. That can be done on WebDriver. For something like, if you see any website like, I'll show you that, Emirates.com or AirArabia.com. If you just show your mouse onto any item, this is called hovering the mouse, HOVER, hovering the mouse. When you hover the mouse over it, it will automatically show you the below menu. So just putting the mouse onto this cannot be automated in Selenium RC, which can be automated in WebDriver. Dragging and dropping, hovering the mouse, there are lots of more features. These are quite a few examples. And why Selenium remote control is slower when compared with Selenium WebDriver? We have just seen the architecture of Selenium, right? So this is the architecture of Selenium remote control actually. Selenium remote control, how does it operate? Whatever commands or whatever script that you will write, that will go to a Selenium remote control server. From there, the code, whatever code you will write, will go to the browser that you want to run your website on. So because it is passing through an intermediate source, that's when it becomes slower. Selenium WebDriver is not like that. Selenium WebDriver also uses this remote control server, but it will use it in the background. It will not have to directly pass through it, and remote control server is not taking the commands to the browser. The commands will be directly run on the browser when you use WebDriver. That is the basic phase where people want to use WebDriver. Fine. So that's the basic phase, and that's the basic difference. Why Selenium WebDriver is faster when compared with Selenium remote control. Fine. Any doubts so far?
No.
So is it interesting or boring?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting, Somu. Suman here.
All right, all right. So, because I've been speaking for such a long time, I didn't take any acknowledgements. You always know that if somebody is performing on the stage, they always expect claps. So it's like for any tutor also, when speaking in the class, if it's in the classroom, then you will be able to see the people and their movements. You will be able to understand their body language. So you will feel okay whether they are agreeing or disagreeing. And on voice, you are able to understand or feel people only when they acknowledge. Because I myself asked you to be on mute, I don't know whether you're able to understand, or I'm single-handedly going on. So that's what made me ask that question. Fine. So this is the basic reason where Selenium remote control and Selenium WebDriver clash, and Selenium WebDriver emerges as a winner about the fastness of the applications that it will run. So now coming to the next component, or the last component. So Selenium Grid is the last component. Selenium remote control and Selenium WebDriver will be doing the same thing. However, Selenium WebDriver will do it better. So when we have already an existing or already a new version, or a feature with greater possibilities, we don't need to use the older feature, that is the remote control. But maybe there will be some companies, they may be still using very old project which runs on Selenium remote control, which usually could have done onto WebDriver by now, but not rolling out any possibility. We will still have some knowledge of Selenium remote control. I will take you through those commands and through those cases also. Fine. So that's about remote control and WebDriver. Now the last component of Selenium is the grid. Grid will test cases run simultaneously on multiple browsers, and it can also run on multiple platforms. There are two scenarios here. So you can use Selenium Grid. Okay, let me take an example. If it's in QTP or in any other tool, you have to run test cases one by one as a batch. However, in Selenium, using Grid, you don't need, or you don't require to use it like that. If you use Selenium Grid, you can run multiple test cases at a time on multiple browsers. You can open one test case in Google Chrome. You can open one test case in Internet Explorer. You can open one test case in Mozilla Firefox and run it, all three at the same time. Which means if for executing 100 test cases on QTP, if it takes 100 minutes for you, on Selenium Grid, using Selenium Grid on Selenium, it will take only 33 minutes. So that's the power of Selenium. If it's in the same system, you can run it on multiple browsers in the same standalone system. If you are in a network, you can run on multiple systems also, in different systems which use different platform or different operating system. You can run different test cases from the network. So that's how people do it in companies. However, they may not run multiple test cases in the same system at a time. Fine, but you have the option to run. You can run. People may or may not run that according to their choice. So that's the option with the Selenium grid. You can run multiple test scripts in the same system on multiple browsers, or multiple test cases on different systems with different operating system, which is not found, as far as I know, in any of the tools, any of the functional testing tools, may it be browser automated or desktop or client server automated. Okay. The main thing that Selenium cannot do, now I am telling you, the main thing that Selenium cannot do is automating a client server application or a desktop based application. You cannot automate a desktop based application, which QTP can do. QTP can automate SAP application, it can automate PeopleSoft applications, it can automate Siebel based applications, but the major chunk of people now are going for web automation. You see, any business now, they want to go on web. So there are more and more chances of websites, and there are more and more possibilities of more projects on web-based applications. Alright, so I want to conclude it here for today, and I want to start with the first component, the Selenium IDE, tomorrow, with the basic things of how Selenium IDE will work. Once you record a test script, okay, let me show you for an instance how Selenium IDE will work, will look like. Then this is a screenshot of Selenium IDE. So tomorrow I'll explain you where to download, when to download, and how to work on what are the menu options and icons, how do they work, all that, along with how to locate elements in different browsers. Fine. So you have different browsers. If you're on Firefox, how to identify an element. On Google Chrome, how to identify an element. That's actually an advanced concept. We will look at that also tomorrow. So why to locate elements separately? Can't we have any element identifier and all the questions? We can handle tomorrow. Just keep guessing, or just research for yourself what it can do and what it cannot do. Fine. So let's conclude it here for today, and let's meet tomorrow at the same time, 10 p.m. Indian time.
Okay.
Which in your time, I'm not sure. US time, it is 10:30 CST. 10:30 AM CST. Rajni, it's UK. It's your UK time.
4:30.
Yeah, 4:30 PM. Yeah, 4:30 PM UK time. GMT. Fine. So let's meet again at the time, and let's continue. We will look at newer and newer concepts with details of the existing concepts or already known concepts. Fine.
Okay.
So thank you for your time and thank you for your patience.
Thank you for your class.
Someone, thanks for your time.
Yeah.
All right, then. Thank you. Bye bye for today.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
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 Bye. See you.